I'm sure Dorit, when she heard she's getting divorced from PK,
That's what
said...
she heard.
Coming up on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show.
PK and I have agreed to separate. I actually thought everyone would kind of lend some type of support. Oh boy, was I wrong.
They've made the decision to take some time apart.
The streets were saying he was staying in the Beverly Hills Hotel. I don't know how he can afford it. That's a really expensive hotel.
Damn, did you hear that?
It's like a condom.
What the is that?
And meanwhile, Sutton said, anyone got any antlers?
I think she went through a lot of effort. That's actually the problem.
Oh.
Okay.
She sends me a text. It was so manipulative. It was so calculated.
That's the lowest thing I've ever seen somebody do on the show.
If you think that you can trust her,
No.
you cannot.
I don't regret it at all.
I don't regret it either.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm getting too excited.
The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show starts right now. This year, I had just reached a place where I was fed up. I didn't care. And this was what was going on, and there was no way I was going to try to hide it, bury it. This is what it is. Good news or bad news?
Okay, I want the bad news first.
The bad news. PK and I have agreed to separate. It was really empowering, sharing something so vulnerable and so big in your life, something that, you know, is gonna be left for people to judge and comment and weigh in. And what? Bring it on. I can handle whatever comes my way.
To me, they were just such a sweet couple who really leaned on each other. They were very codependent, PK more so than Dorit, but still they did everything together.
Yeah.
You know, it was initiated by him. We had had a rough few years. It wasn't consistently a rough few years. It was just like good and bad and good and bad. And then it started to get progressively worse.
She keeps a lot in because we didn't know anything until she told us when we went to your show in Vegas. She told you, Lisa Rinna, and me.
The four of us spoke very openly, and she confided in us then. But I didn't
But
think...
she didn't say everything. She didn't tell us there was a separation coming.
I wasn't surprised. I heard on the streets, as Sutton would say.
The words were, the streets were talking.
The streets were talking. The rumor was that they've been separated for quite a while. Anybody who's seen them interact, like in the last year or so, you're like, ooh, they really are not happy with each other. So I don't think it was too much of a surprise to anybody.
I was surprised that they put it out there, but when we were at the reunion, Andy had asked about PK staying at a hotel. And Dorit went around about saying Boy George was staying at the hotel. And we all knew that wasn't true.
Yeah. Even though I would hear rumors, remember we'd hear things like, I heard PK was living in a hotel, but we didn't know. We didn't want to ask.
I would never ask.
I would never ask that, even though we're friends, but
That's
I
none of
felt
my
so
business.
sad too. I was like, this is sad. You guys love each other. And then I'm like, but look at the position I'm in. Like, who am I to talk?
Well, that's why I started to cry. Who am I to... I just was thinking the absolute worst for her, and I was just like, no.
I used to see him at the Beverly Hills Hotel in the bar where we like to hang out because my friend's looking for a new rich husband. And
Is that where to go?
yes, that's the place to go. We
I've
like
been
to
there.
sit in the
I
bar
haven't
when
seen
we're
one
not
rich
sitting in
We've
the back.
been there, and I haven't seen one.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not PK.
The Beverly Hills bar,
God,
but
why
I would
do I
see
say
PK
things
in the
like
bar
that?
a lot, but without Dorit. The streets were saying he was staying in the Beverly Hills Hotel. I don't know how he can afford it. That's a really expensive hotel.
Damn, did you hear that?
I am going to, honestly, when it comes to PK, I'm going to sew my lips shut.
So I didn't hear anything, and just the rumblings about he was in a hotel. But then
But so
I would see him,
what?
and then they would post a picture, and they were together at the house. I was like, oh, I guess that's not true. And then I'd hear about a hotel again, and then I would hear 2 different hotels. I'm like, is that a lie, or did he move from one hotel to the next?
Or he was gone all the time.
And Mo wasn't living with me anymore. He had just moved out. So if I would say to him, what's going on with Drake and PK? He was like, man code, you know? He'd be like, I don't know. And he'd say,
As he should.
Right, and then he'd say things like, I don't think it's great, but nothing like that.
We definitely needed to make a change, and that was the, you know, the best way to do it, I suppose. It's like ripping off the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Perhaps the robbery made her feel not supported in the marriage because he was in London when it happened, and then he seemed like he was sort of impatient over her post-traumatic stress syndrome.
The reality is when does high maintenance blend with PTSD?
Perhaps she was sort of like thinking like, maybe I want somebody that supports me more.
He didn't seem very sympathetic about it, and I think that probably put a wedge. And you know Dorit, she tends to milk things too.
I was struggling so much being in a place that I didn't feel myself. I didn't feel like myself. I was desperate to feel confident. And when it started to come, I grabbed at it like it was, this is the air I need to breathe. Because it was like being on a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
It was like being on a merry-go-round, and I had to get off the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Were you surprised to hear about the separation on social media?
Oh, not surprised. Come on now. She's like, come on.
I'm sure Dorit, when she heard she's getting divorced from PK,
That's what she heard.
She said, I'm gonna text my closest friends, Garcelle and Sutton. I'm sure they want to hear from me before anybody else.
Naively, I actually thought going into the group, because so many women in the group had this experience.
Yeah, everybody.
That I would be around support.
Yes.
Like
that would make sense.
Everyone would kind of put in, and at least say, listen, I know I've been there, so lend some type of support. And oh boy, was I wrong.
Wow.
I wrote a text to both of them, and I was in a total panic about what to do. And then when I heard that I sent it to PK, and I was like, I want to send this, but I'm so scared. A, she's going to show it. B, she's going to think I'm being manipulative by sending her a nice supportive text because I'm supposed to see her at Sutton's house. So I called Eric. I'm like, I'm really in a pickle. I don't know what to do. And then she told me that none of the cast had reached out.
Yeah, no one had reached out.
Nobody had reached out to her, and it really broke my heart. So
I said, and she said to me, and Kyle said, I've written this text. I sent it to PK. I haven't sent it to Dorit. And I said, you must send it.
Yeah, because once I knew that, I was like, I don't care what she thinks about this text from me. I'm sending it.
Yeah.
Kyle did eventually end up reaching out by text. And would you believe that that was actually more than 90% of the ladies did?
Oh.
Yeah.
No way. What do you mean?
Yeah.
No, nobody reached out?
Nope.
When they read it?
Nope.
They didn't?
Nope. Nope.
I found out from Avi. They've made the mutual and difficult decision to take some time apart.
We hear most things from Avi.
I wasn't surprised at all.
I was shocked. Putting an announcement means like it's really real. I was like, wow, it's really happening. And then I gotta go back to work.
The lack of compassion that was shown by the same ladies that didn't reach out after the home invasion.
Okay, yeah.
The day after.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very public.
Yeah.
And
I think I heard this.
Yeah, and Kyle was talking to Sutton about it.
Just after what happened today with Dorit,
It's weird.
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And Sutton's remark was,
I've got this French designer that I'm bringing in immigration is, listen.
That doesn't seem like a fire after what.
Well, these are, it's all relative.
I know.
I mean, I wasn't held at gunpoint, I'm sorry.
We're talking about something very, very serious.
like she
this
had
is
to
like
tell her that.
life-threatening.
I know.
You can't make light of it because in the same situation,
I know.
believe me, you wouldn't want that at all.
I know.
And I think even in case of like the separation, I am equally surprised just because they've both been in it.
I know.
And so regardless of how they feel about you, I think that at least,
I know.
hey, I read this, are you okay?
I know. That's why, Bose, if you had if you could understand why it meant so much to me, that first time ever meeting you, you lent more support to me in one of the hardest times of my life in that hour than the women combined that I had known for 5, 6, 4 years. It's just mind-blowing.
Garcelle, you and Kyle have a heart-to-heart.
First of all, I was shocked that she was sharing something so personal with me.
I wanted to talk to everybody tonight, and since you're sitting here and I feel safe with you, I'm gonna start with you. Yeah. All like the tabloids, all the stories, out there. I know there's a lot of curiosity about the person they always talk about. I'm not using her name intentionally right now. There's just nothing to say.
So you're not with her, I can say that? I can ask
No, I'm not.
In one way, I felt like, oh, wow, I must be in her inner circle that she's sharing this with me. And on the other end of it, I thought, is she being honest?
I'm still not using her name. I think that even though there was rumors out there, some were true, some were not true. I have addressed it like I did at the reunion.
Is there anything going on with Morgan?
In that way?
Yeah.
No.
Are you a couple?
No. So, I was trying to be as honest as I could be this whole season with also respecting people that are not, part of this, so it's difficult.
I think Kyle was at the time still trying to figure out her life.
You're going through divorce and there's children involved and everything. I think you don't want to throw something else in the middle of the divorce.
Well,
like
she shouldn't have done the music video. She shouldn't be at the airport. She shouldn't be at the concert.
I think she pulled back, way back from the.
But it's okay for him to spray girls' tits with champagne? I don't know.
Well, it's very, very difficult to extricate yourself emotionally from a very long marriage like that. So I think she's a little bit confused about, which way to go next.
I do think that Morgan came in at a time where Kyle needed a safe place of friendship. And I don't know if Kyle was thinking that Morgan was going to be the kind of friend that you're attracted to, but I think it happens. Listen, was I attracted to my co-star and wanted to? Okay, her too.
Why do you think I build the Pillow Bridge?
The chemistry.
Chemistry. Oh gosh, I'm losing snaps everywhere. I'm getting very bothered.
Garcelle, the power, the woman that you are.
Okay. No, it's just, Kyle and I had this conversation. She was in Aspen, and Kevin Costner was there. And she was like, no, she was like trying to hook up with Kevin Costner.
Well, you want Kevin Costner.
I know, so this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that Morgan's the end all be all, because she really was. I was like, wait a minute, hang on, it's not all about Morgan.
Right.
There's some Kevin Costner mixed in there.
Listen, we'll get it the way we can get it.
It's fun to be single.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is it though?
It's a never-ending smorgasbord.
It's a never-ending story, that's for sure.